Hi everyone, welcome to Scrapbooking from the Heart for the month of July. This month we are focusing on vacation. Surprise, surprise. I'm Kiki. If you've been here before and you enjoy my videos, please consider subscribing and click the notification bell. This month I am going to be working on a kit called In This Together from Close to My Heart. And what I've done is I've chosen some of the cardstock, and I'm going to use the cardstock as the background, and I'm going to use some photos of my husband to scrapbook this idea of vacation. So if you haven't seen any of our Scrapbook from the Heart videos before, what we do is we use a journal prompt and we think about that journal prompt and use it in our scrapbooking somehow. And we try to think a little more deeply than just using the word vacation, or using vacation pictures, for example. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just the idea is just to get you to think a little more deeply about something, about a word prompt, and get you to scrapbook it. And so what I'm doing with these photos is these are photos of my husband who came home from work very, very tired, and this year has been very different for him, very hard for him, because he hasn't been able to take a vacation. And he really needs one, both mentally and physically. So I thought that I would scrapbook these photos about him. So what I've done is I have taken some of the pattern paper scraps that I have from the kit, and I am double backing these photos, and I'm distressing them. And you'll see that distressing is a theme through this entire layout, because I thought it would go with the theme of just having these photos which are supposed to express the need for a vacation. And so to me that means that the edges are ragged, the same way as sometimes we feel after a hard day at work. So I hope that makes sense to you. So I'm using my Prima marketing tool to just distress the edges. And then what I'm going to do is, because I've distressed the edges around that photo, I'm actually going to sand the edges of this cardstock, just to give it a bit of a distressed feel as well. Oftentimes I don't do this with the background page. I usually just leave it and distress everything else, but because this is a navy cardstock, or sapphire actually, I am going to distress it because I think it really shows up on the paper, and it lends itself to the whole theme of feeling distressed, feeling run down, feeling down but not necessarily out, and just hoping for a vacation. So I've distressed those edges now, and I really like the way it looks and how it's subtle, but it does add to the whole theme. And I'm going to use these light colored papers, pattern papers, for the photos. I did have a little bit more of the polka dot left after doing the mat around the photos, but I end up not using it. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put down this paper. And I ran out of adhesive right in the middle of filming, so that's why I just done the crossover there. But I am going to put down the papers where I think I want them. And then I'm going to add a little bit more interest. So I'm sort of putting the papers in the center. I'm doing sort of a theme of half and half, but not exactly. I've been trying to do more half and half layouts because I've been taking Chamel's class on that. I stopped doing it. I really have to get back to it. And I plan on doing that, but I just kind of varied this a little bit and made it sort of half and half. And because of this lined paper that's got like the checks in it, I've decided like I'm definitely going to leave some spot, either the top or the bottom, open for the journaling. That's where I'm going to put my journaling down. But in the meantime, I want to scrapbook this other photo of my husband. I think it's a really good photo of him. But to me, he does look a little tired, honestly. So I am going to double back this one as well. I'm going to put it onto this toilet paper. Not that you're really going to notice that that's what it is. It's going to just look like light blue paper once I've actually trimmed it down. And then I'm going to use the navy mask paper as well, so that it's got a double backing. I just feel like the photo was too dark to put directly onto the navy, and that's what I did with the other ones as well. I put them onto the polka dot paper first because I felt like it was lighter than just putting it onto the navy, but the navy sort of sets it apart from that grid paper that you see. So in the end, I think what I've done is I decided that I wasn't going to use paper after all, and to kind of go with the theme of distress but make things a little bit different, I'm using some navy, this is navy colored tissue paper, and I figured like it was going to add a little bit of a different texture to the page, which I thought would be great. And then I do like this green. I kind of stumbled on the green by accident because I flipped over the paper when I thought about actually backing it with that. And I decided that because it's a masculine layout, there's a lot of purple and stuff in it, but I decided I did want to use this green for kind of an accent color, and I really like it. So I am going to actually stretch the kind of that line of paper across the page, not quite to the edge, but I am going to do it, pretty far. And I don't want the paper to actually touch the edges and be perfectly straight. So I have left a jagged edge on the ends, and I really like the way that looks. It also gives the photos something to anchor onto, I find, so that they're not just sort of floating. So that's what I'm doing with this page. Is I'm going to tear off a little bit, just make it a little bit straighter on that section there, and then I'm going to put it down. And I'm using mostly tape runner for this because I don't have a lot of mixed media work that I'm adhering anywhere. I am, however, going to just ruffle up these edges because it's just going to add a little bit more distress and texture to the page, and it's going to help bring that feel of like being worn down. I hope that makes sense. And normally when you think of vacation, you think, oh, cheery photos and cheery events, vacations past, all that kind of thing. I wanted to give sort of the feeling of this is a vacation that's really needed that didn't happen. That's what it got me to think about. So I have some of this. I got the entire stamp set as well for this. And so what I did is I stamped some of the stamps from a previous layout that I did and just kept the scraps. And I am going to actually fussy cut out this paper or toilet paper roll that says roll with it. I thought that would be a good embellishment to use on this page. As I said, this is a monthly hop that we do. There's several ladies that are playing along with the hop this month. So I will put their descriptions, their links into the description box below so that you can visit their takes and see how they are scrapbooking the theme vacation this month. I'm sure we're going to see a wide variety of things. Some people I think are probably going to be focusing on mental vacations, actual vacations, etc. So I think it's a theme that can be taken a whole bunch of different ways. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how the ladies all did it. So make sure that you tune in and check them out as well, because I'm sure they've done a fabulous job, as they always do. So I've decided that I'm going to use some of the stickers from the sticker sheet, and what I did is I took an anti-static pouch and kind of spounced on the back so that I've taken the stickiness away from the stickers so that I can use them like die cuts. And I like to do this because then I can move the things around without having to worry about putting them down in their final place and then changing my mind later. Because if you know me, I move things around a lot. That's going to be a lot of what my videos are about, is the actual placement of the photos, of the embellishments, of the papers. And you've already seen me sort of move papers around and things. So yeah, so I find that really helps me be able to take stickers and just convert them into die cuts that I can play along and move them around and whatnot. So I have these leftover flowers that were part of the stamp set that I have already stamped in the purple and the yellow that go with the kit. And what I've done is I have roughed up the edges again because I want these flowers to be perfectly imperfect, a little on the ragged side, but also have a lot of dimension to them. So I am going to actually work with 3 clusters. And you'll see that I'm playing around. I kind of moved around the house and then the couch And the guitar, I kind of like that sort of, you know, homey kind of feeling there. But I just, you know, it was just really bugging me. I just wasn't quite certain about how I was going to do that, because then what happens with my journaling space, and where am I going to put my title and things like that? Because I didn't start from a sketch. I didn't even start from anything in my mind. I just started putting papers down. And I guess that's part of the art journaling side of me, is that when I scrapbook, I never start with an end in mind. I always just go with the flow, and what ends up on the page ends up on the page. And I find that it's very freeing. It's very liberating to be able to do that. And then, you know, if there's some happy accidents, there's happy accidents. And believe me, there's going to be a happy accident or a not so happy accident in this video. And you'll see it a little later. But I will show you how I'm fixing that so that you can see, like, you know, hey, we're not all perfect scrapbookers here. We all make huge mistakes, little mistakes. But it's just, you know, you just want to roll with it. So I've decided that I am going to stick that couch and the plant and the guitar down there at the bottom, I think. I do like where they are. So what I'm going to do is I am going to keep the house and the coffee cup up at the top. And so I'm putting some foam on the coffee cup right now to give it a little bit more dimension. And I like the placement of it because it is sort of, you know, it's kind of breaking a little bit of the paper, the difference of the papers at the top. And I'm going to put down this couch with the planter and the guitar, and just keep those down at the bottom. And I am going to put the couch, which says I think it says Conquering the World One Nap at a Time, which I think is really adorable. But I'm going to put it up on foam just to pop it up a bit to give a little bit of extra dimension down there on the corner. And I really like where those clusters went. So I also put a sticker, a heart sticker down near the home. And I've got this label as well that I'm going to put at the top of the photo of my husband. And I just think that really kind of makes a nice base for that cluster. So I'm really happy that I did that. Now I am taking the words "Stay Home." They come from the sticker sheet, and that's going to be the title of the layout. But as you can see, the letters are very thin. So guess what happens when I go to say "Stay Home" and I take the "stay" off? Yeah, wait for it. Wait for it. Yeah, that's right, folks. I ripped the "stay." So here's that huge mistake that I told you about. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to freak out about it. I'm not thrilled with it, of course, needless to say. But I am going to cover that up. And you will see that in the end. I will show you a close-up of that at the end of the video so that you can see exactly how I managed to do that. I'm not freaking out about it or anything. I've also put the toilet paper roll at the top to make that a bigger cluster. Leave some room down at the bottom. And now I've decided that, oh, you know, there's the paper, the background paper is all sanded, but these other papers are all cut really neat. So I decided to distress them a little bit after the fact. And again, not a big deal. You know, and they're going to be distressed. That's the whole point, right? Is make them look distressed. So I'm just distressing them a little bit where I can, even though they're on the page. Same with the "Stay Home." You'll see me distress that as well. So I'm just going to lift that off the page, and I'm just going to distress some of this paper. And then I have to do the sides. So I'm going to try my best to get to the sides there. And then I have to get between the couch and this green paper. And oh, there's another thing. I ripped the paper. Well, you know, it's not the end of the world, and it's just a little bit more distress. So it kind of adds to the whole feel of being a little ragged, being a little torn up, a little shaken up. And heck, don't we all feel that way after this pandemic hit us? It's kind of nuts, you know? So I'm journaling here about my husband and how proud I am that day after day he still manages to go to work, even though it's just about killing him physically and, you know, mentally he's just exhausted because he doesn't have a vacation coming up in sight. But he keeps going, and he just keeps plugging along, and he keeps positive. I can't get over that. So I wanted to make sure that I journaled that, and that he knew that I was proud of him, even though he didn't know I took these pictures of him sleeping, napping along on the couch there. But I mean, it's really, he does really, really tough work, and he's still managing to keep going. So I wanted to let him know that I'm super proud of him. So my layout isn't perfect. It's pretty simple, like I said, but I did manage to put some extra dots in there. So I will show you the close-ups here so you can see how I fixed that stay home. And I want to thank you so much for being here. Remember, please, to check out the ladies that are in the description box below and visit their videos so that you can see how they did the take. And I hope that you're staying safe and have a great, great weekend. Bye for now.